Hi guys. So I wanted to speak about the transit that we're in right now. So the sun is in Gene Key 24 and the earth is in Gene Key 44. And they're also programming partners. Gene Key 24 goes from the shadow of addiction to the gift of invention and the city of silence. And we can look at it from some different perspective to get a better grasp. So in human design, we say there's the gate of rationalization. And it's about this ability in our thinking to kind of go back to the beginning and making sense, the rationalization that we do through our thinking about what's going on, you know? And then in the I Ching, it's called the hexagram of returning. So in the translation, it says it's about returning to humility and returning to inner truth. And that's also how it's connected to the 61st gene key. It makes the channel between the head center and the ajna center. And the 61 is about that inner truth and inner knowing. So it's what helps us to not get carried away with the mind, or the mind carrying us away, but because we come back all the time to the inner truth. And in the gene keys, we speak about returning as well with this gate, or with this gene key, but we speak about it in a wider sense. So it's about returning back to incarnation, you could say, and live here, and then going back to silence, and then returning back here. And every time we return, is that we have the awareness, the consciousness that we had when we left, and then we thread up every time with a little bit more awareness, a bit more love, and nothing is lost. It's always returning and threading, and kind of the spiral dynamics, right? And it doesn't really matter if we speak about it on an individual level, as one consciousness expanding, or on a collective level. It's the same thing. And it's this kind of dance between silence that we go back to, and then coming here, and that that one awareness becoming aware of itself and expanding, right? And I felt like I wanted to speak about the 24th from my own experience. And it's kind of funny that I say that, because I do not have the 24 in my chart, or not in my gene keys, not in my human design. But I do have the 44, which is the programming partner. That's my sphere of culture. And I do have the 61 in the channel that I was talking about, which is my SQ. So I do connect into the 24 all the time through those connections, right? And for me, when I think about addiction, often it's easy to think about these addictions like alcohol or drugs, or the things that are really apparent, and they kind of like really eat up our whole life. And I feel like a way that is more useful to think of it is like, addictions are those patterns that can often have become, or that are unconscious, that then we go into in order to not have to suffer. So when we have maybe a problem that we can't solve mentally, or we have something that is uncomfortable emotionally, instead of suffering, we decide, we go into a pattern so we don't have to feel the discomfort and the unease. And then that kind of becomes automatic. It's what we always do. And one example can be like, we get off a call that is challenging, and we go to the fridge, and we open the fridge to eat something that's gonna calm us down. And here, when we speak from the shadow frequency, it's really something like the gravity kind of draws us down, right? And the gift frequency is something much lighter. And how does the 24 work for in that change of frequency? For me, it has a lot to do with the Art of Contemplation, which is also Richard's new book. And the first step in the Art of Contemplation, it's about pausing. It's about when we open that fridge, like before we take something out, we actually pause, and we become the neutral observer for just a moment. And maybe in that pausing, in that gap between the feeling and the action, something completely new can come through, because we are pausing and we become aware, and something new comes through. And that is the gift of invention. There's possibility for something different, not that same loop of feeling that and doing that, like not that same loop of actions that we go into. And then when Richard speaks about how he speaks about this is about it's pivoting. So we pause, and then we have that little space where we have the possibility to pivot and to not go into what we always used to go into. And then the third stage in the art of contemplation, it's about merging. It's kind of becoming one. It's not like we are not, invention is kind of coming through us. It's not really something we do, like we are becoming one with that new experience. And there was something with this merging that also made me think, in my case, with the 24, because I realized that somebody close to me has the 24 in the SQ, and I have the 61 in the SQ. So basically with this person, it's a merging in the SQ with this electromagnetic channel, the 2461. So this would not really be possible in the shadow frequency, because we would have the shadows of addiction and psychosis. And also the fact that it's the SQ. So SQ is the love point, is that age between 0 and 7 years old in the golden path, where we come back to the heart and open permanently, where we come back to the innocence of the child. And it's kind of, we can't really even merge and go in there before we have taken care of our mental defenses in the IQ, and our emotional triggers or patterns in the EQ. So it's in the golden path. We thread back from the attraction into the to the IQ, and we start to become aware and transcend our mental defense mechanisms. And then the next arrow goes to the EQ, and it's about our emotional triggers and how we escape to not feel. And then the next arrow goes back to the love point and the SQ, where we actually completely can open up. And to actually open up and to merge in a place that is the gift frequency, the inspiration of the 61, and the invention of the 24 is something amazing. And what it has done to me, like how I can see that is happening, is that with the gift of inspiration in the 61 and a fourth line, I am very enthusiastic, and I'm sharing a lot, and I speak very fast, and a lot of things, thanks to or caused by this inspiration, go really fast for me. And I can see how the merging with the 24 has made that acceleration that's there actually start to slow down, and to give me in my life the possibility for these pauses, the possibility for the art of contemplation into my life. And that is something that with the inspiration, there is something completely new that comes through, and something that I also get to share. And actually, that something that we get to share, for me here, we can also bring in the 44, because when we speak about addictions and we think about, it's like me, I have to fix me, and I have to come into a higher frequency with my addictions, then it can feel like a very solitary path. But the 44 is about coming here to meet. It's about soul fractals that come here to meet other souls or souls that come here to meet other souls on the same fractal, so that we can start preparing DNA, start preparing humanity through teamwork, which is the gift frequency of the 44. So it's really about doing it also together on a collective level. And we can see how the shadow frequency of interference of the 44 is also what kind of keeps us in our addiction, and what doesn't allow us to have this. There's too much interference so that we can even pause, and that keeps us in the same loop that doesn't allow us to go anywhere else. And for me, I feel like it's important to say that we are doing this, we are inventing a new world, we are preparing the world and inventing a new world on a collective level. And the city of the 44 is synarchy. It's like what's breaking down right now is all the 3D structures, the power structure of money and power, and everything that we thought was like the hierarchy in society that we were kind of relying on, is breaking down in a new kind of way of organization, which is the synarchy, which is the city of the 44, which is inspiring me a lot because it's my culture, and it's a new world where everybody, every time we come back, we return, we incarnate again, we are on the right place in the matrix. Each one of us have exactly our right role, and it's not that somebody's higher and somebody's lower, but we fill that function, and that is the new world that we're creating. And then at the same time, when it comes to the 24th, for me, it's like, it's about the self-leadership as well, because there is a new kind of leadership that we need in that kind of new matrix with the synergy, but it starts with the self-leadership, and it starts with the becoming aware of our own patterns, our unconscious patterns, and our patterns that make us bypass our own truth. And this is something that I feel like the 24 can really make us aware of. And when we use the art of contemplation to catch those little gaps, those little moments where something new is possible, whether it's in our own or mirroring with another person or in the collective, it doesn't matter, because it's all kind of one consciousness just playing and becoming aware of itself. But for me, I feel like this week, these 3 gene keys have really made me look at it from different perspectives and different levels, and both feel what it is in myself and with the other, and also in the bigger perspective. So this is my contemplation this week of this gene key. So thank you, guys.